All right, let's do this. Give me 1 second. All right. Hello, hi, and welcome. Welcome to WholeBeing Journey. My name is Jasmine Onfam, and I'm your host today. And I'm thrilled to have you join us today. So this show is dedicated to getting to know each other better as fellow graduates of the MA in Happiness study. After spending 18 months together in an online learning environment, we now have the opportunity to share our stories and experience more personally. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Lauren Silva. Lauren's story is one of resilience, passion, and positivity. Originally from Texas with Colombian and English roots, Lauren is trilingual. She's fluent in English, Portuguese, and Colombian Spanish. So her journey took a transformative turn at the age of 21 during a volunteer mission in Brazil, where she fell in love with the language and culture. Despite her initial dislike for camping, she discovered a passion for positive psychology while working at Ana, Anasazi, an outdoor wilderness therapy program. Lauren has taught English to adults and is married to a Brazilian with a 3.5 years old son. Her life took a challenging turn when she became handicapped during childbirth. Soon after, she moved to Brazil for a medical treatment and began an MA program in happiness studies. Her resilience led her to start a preschool in Brazil, developing a happiness curriculum, and she recently gave her first speech at a happiness congress. With a bachelor in business entrepreneurship, Lauren aims to continue working with business, organization, and individuals. She loves children, dance, and floral design, and shares her experience with her happiness program. We are thrilled to have Lauren with us today and share her inspiration, journey, and insight on well-being. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Lauren Silva to WholeBeing Journey. Hello.
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you so much for having me today, as well as for everyone being here. It's wonderful to be able to spend time with you guys to get to know you a little bit more and talk in person, I guess, even though it's virtual.
Yeah. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm loving the warm weather today, and it's nice. I've got my husband's with my baby, and so well, he's not so little anymore, 3.5, but doing really good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing really good. So is your husband and your baby is also stay here in the state with you right now?
Yeah, we're all here in the States. So we've been here since graduation. So it'll be almost about 2 months that we've been here. So he works online. So he was able to travel and work with us as well. So
Oh, that how nice.
yeah, it's really nice. Really
That's the
nice.
best job that I would like to have.
Yeah, it helps a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I know I introduced you a little bit over there, from the beginning, but can you please share with us more about yourself, like what you do right now, and also I would like to hear more about your preschool in Brazil. Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm from Texas. I was raised in Texas. I was actually born in California, but I got to Texas when I was 1. So, I mean, I spent my whole life, so I consider myself from Texas. And then I grew up with my mom, who's from Colombia, speaking some Spanish at home, and my dad, who is American, and his ancestry goes back to England. So, um, I loved it. Always loved learning languages, getting to know people, and getting to know different cultures. And that was always something that was a lot of fun for me. And which is wonderful. The fact that now my husband and I were currently living in Brazil, and we have a little boy, 3.5 years old, named Levi. And when we moved to Brazil, I went there it was a little over a year and a half ago. This time I've been, I guess it's times total now, living in Brazil. But the recent time that we went, I needed a daycare for my son while I was doing my medical treatment, and his school closed down, and so I didn't find one that I was happy with. And so I decided to start one with a friend of mine who's a teacher. So she's actually still running that right now while we're gone. And the kids are there, and it's wonderful. It's so nice. We really focus on social and emotional development as well as cognitive. Anyway, we follow a method from Finland, which is ranked one of the happiest countries in the world. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm working on developing a happiness curriculum for the kids as well, so that they'll be able to have this in the preschool. So it's a lot of fun.
Wow, that's inspiring. So who is the one who come up with this idea? I know like your son's school is closing, but have you ever thought one day you would open a preschool?
No, actually, I didn't. It's kind of funny. A lot of the things that I've done, I never thought would happen or would do. The school that he was at last year, I loved. The teachers were really great, and they really had a lot of care for each individual child. But unfortunately, the school closed in December, and when I was looking for another one, I didn't find a lot of the things that we've learned, even in our master's program, or just for what I understood as well-being for the development of a child. And so I thought, I think I can do better. I think I can do what I think would go well. So we decided to take a chance. And so far it's working. It's small, but it's working. So we're happy about that.
That's nice. So do you do you need to have a specific license to open a preschool in Brazil?
So the type of preschool that we're opening is not necessarily legally a school. So the type that we're doing is I don't have to have a specific license. It's just a business. But I do have my business partner, who she is a trained, they call it a pedagogy, so a trained teacher. And she has experience in that area. So that's how we're able to fully function, because I don't have a background as a teacher. I'm not certified anyway. So thankfully she's able to bring that, and then we're able to cultivate and put things together from both of our strengths, and build something that goes well.
Yeah, indeed. Well, you don't have a background in teaching, but you have a background in coaching because, you know, we get we get the coaching license after certificate after we finish happiness study. Okay, so let's go back to happiness study a little bit. I know that you have passion for positive psychology while you were working at Anasazi. Did I
Yeah.
Anasazi? Yeah. So what was it about that experience that resonate with you?
Well, it's such a funny story, to be honest with you, because so Anasazi is, I told you I've lived in Brazil 3 times. So once when I was 21, when I did volunteer work and I loved it. Another time when I got married prior to the pandemic, and then now recently after having my baby. So in between the first and second time, I actually I was working in banking, and I was doing well in banking, and I just felt so empty inside, and I really wanted something that was meaningful, um, And so my husband at that time, we were still dating, he had told me about this wilderness survival camp that he had gone to and worked at, where they actually help at-risk teens. And so, in a moment when I was at work, I wasn't feeling well emotionally, thinking I wasn't feeling well, that I wasn't being fulfilled, or being able to fulfill others, right? I wasn't doing anything really that was worthwhile. I was working with millions of dollars, but it wasn't making me happy, and I don't think it was making the other people very happy. So I decided to apply for this job in Arizona, and I wasn't sure if I'd got the job, but I quit my banking job, so I was really nervous because I had no background in camping, and I hated camping. I was terrible. But I just felt like I really needed to be there. There was something that I could contribute and learn. And fortunately, I did get the job. They gave me the training that I needed. But what was so incredible and what stood out to me the most, I think, was just seeing how these kids, teenagers, and even young adults had such big transformations so quickly in their lives, and from a place where these were individuals that are definitely judged and labeled as kind of a group of people in society that people don't want to be around. Maybe they have drug affiliations, or work with drugs, or gang affiliations and violence. Some of them have a lot of depression and suicide tendencies. And so there's just a lot of things that are difficult that they're going through in their lives. But it was so cool, because as we were out in the wilderness and we were surviving out there, and I'll go into more details about what that really entailed, but they recognized that there was goodness within them, and that they weren't those bad choices that they had made, that they could walk forward in their life or walk backward depending on the choices that they make. And so they were able to recognize their own seed of greatness, and you could see it slowly start to blossom. And then by the end of their time in the program, usually 6 to 8 weeks, there was such a difference. Like even in their eyes, you could see a light in their eyes. They were happy. Whereas in the beginning, a lot of them were very, very unhappy being there. And I included, was not, I was not happy in the beginning, even as a counselor, because it is pretty primitive. We don't have to hunt our own food or gather our own food, so we do carry food with us, but you cook it on a fire and you start fires with sticks. So we would use a bow drill or a hand drill, and you don't take a shower unless you find a river to jump into, and no tent. You sleep under the stars, but my gosh, the stars out there are the most incredible thing you've ever seen. And it's absolutely beautiful, but it's difficult. You have a backpack that's like 50 pounds, and you have to climb mountains. And anyway, it's wonderful. Ben, yeah, I think that's amazing. It really is amazing. It's difficult, but it's amazing. But anyway, I just get so excited, so I'm rambling. But
Well, no, not at all. It's beyond what I can imagine it. It's beyond my imagination. Just because I thought that kind of life that you just experienced, it would I would watch a reality show, but I would say people do the reality show because they just want to have something different, and so for the viewer to watch, not not expecting that somebody or like some business doing that, for people to have a real experience to live in the wildlife.
yeah.
Wow, that's crazy at the same time.
crazy. I mean, oh my goodness, when I was out there, after I went out there, I thought, I'm crazy. What am I doing? It was so hard, but it really puts you in a position for extreme growth really fast. Um, but talking of reality shows, there's other people that are much more experienced and much better at this type of primitive camping than I am, or survival. But we actually have some people that I know or that have participated in the program, working there as we're called trail walkers. We're the counselors or guidance. The young ones are called young walkers. But there's other individuals that actually have been on TV shows like Alone or Naked and Afraid, because they really are some of them are very, very good at wilderness survival. So it's very cool. It can be very scary too sometimes, but I've had my own fair share of having to deal with mountain lions and different and javelina pigs and things like that. So it's rattlesnakes and different things too.
Yeah. How do you deal with that?
You're kind of like don't really have a choice when you're out there. It's survival. Yeah, we had bears. I didn't run into any bears, but we would see tracks and their droppings. But it is really scary. So initially when I went, I didn't, like I said, I hated camping, but I felt this was the place that I needed to be. So it was quite shocking. I was very scared, but I didn't have, you're out there, and I really wanted to help these kids. Um, and so I stayed up all night because you can't sleep. But we did have, you learn, right? You learn how to deal with it. You learn that, how to deal with, be happy and find the good and the simple things. And you also grow and become more brave and courageous and understand what the real risks are. We've had mountain at night. I remember there was a night where mountain lion was circling our camp, and I could hear it in the trees. But it's such a weird thing because you can't really hear it almost with your ears, but it's almost like you hear the air moving around the animal because they're so quiet. And I remember telling some of my other campers, I said, I hear it, it's there. Because you stay up at night to watch the fire and make sure all the kids are okay. They're always monitored. So I was doing night watch and I could hear them, and I told some of the other campers, and they said, it's fine, it's fine. They were a lot braver than I was. But then, and they said, I can't hear anything. But then like a couple hours later, all of a sudden you hear a crash, and the big cat fell from the tree and ran off. And then there was another time where we had a totally different experience, but one that is always just marked in my memory is when we were hiking down this mountain. We were supposed to arrive at our final destination in about 2 hours hike, but we took a wrong turn, and it ended up being 13 hours hiking that day in the sun, but we were out of water. And we actually ended up, I think it's called screeding, where we're going down the mountain, but it's so steep, you actually can't walk. So you're falling. So, and it's on gravel. And so we're falling down this mountain for almost like 8 hours, like almost like you're skiing, but it's on loose gravel. And then there's cactus. So you have to avoid hitting the cactus. And then at the bottom, we find no water and rattlesnakes. And it was so disappointing. And so then we had to keep going till we finally got to the water. And then I think that evening we got to our camp spot. People were very kind. There were some other people that came to help us because they gave us water, and a rattlesnake was there, and it wouldn't leave. And we hardly ever do anything with the wildlife, but this snake kept coming back over and over again. And so we did have to remove it, and it came back again. And so we had to unfortunately kill it. But this is kind of gross, this part, but we didn't want to waste it because you need to respect nature and care for it. So we made a fire and we made jerky out of the rattlesnake, and we ate that rattlesnake. It's really like what you'd see out of a TV show. It sounds it's awful, but it was actually we made beef jerky, rattlesnake jerky, and we used that on our hike too. And we had seasoning, and it was great.
Very safe.
For the purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would do the same. Um, that's how Vietnamese do it as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Have you ever-
I feel like it's not just Vietnamese and not just Brazilian. Like everybody would do the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I know it sounds different, I think, for some people, but that's good. Have you ever eaten anything like that?
Um, well, I got to eat a lot of wildlife just because my parents travel a lot and we usually travel to this place called Đà Lạt with it where is similar to but the Pacific Northwest here,
Okay.
and they have a lot of wildlife there, and for some reason we knew local, and the local took us to the restaurant where we can taste all of the wildlife. It's kind of weird. I don't eat it just because I thought it's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad gave me that experience when I was young.
Oh, that's cool. It's kind of fun. I mean, look back on a unique experiences like that too. So
Yeah, and I don't like snake.
yeah, I wouldn't eat it again either. It was the time though. So you do what you have to do out there.
We have deer over here too, so some, like we have a lot of deer in Texas as well. So
Yeah.
I used to live in Texas, and my friend in Texas gave me the jerky
Oh
all the
yeah.
time. Yeah, but uh, yeah, I'm not a wildlife eater. It doesn't taste good to me at all.
It probably wouldn't taste so good to me right now either. I think because we only had fruits and vegetables, and it was a vegan diet, or I guess almost vegetarian diet when we were out there. So it was a very clean, but that was the only meat we ever ate that entire time.
Wow.
But it gave us a lot of energy. I remember that gave me a ton of energy going up that hill, just a tiny bit. I swear, I promise it was almost like just a sliver the size of my finger, but yeah, but it
Yeah,
was.
that's awesome. Wow. So how old is the group of kids that you mentor?
So that group in Anasazi, they were, I think that was she 11, might have been 13, the youngest, till about 17 is most of them. So there's boys and there's girls. And then we also mentor young adults as well, but they're a smaller group usually. Mostly they're teenagers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you work with a group of no survival skill,
Yeah.
and they are young.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
So
did
go
go ahead?
ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so when we're as a young walker or the group of kids, they they come out and they have no experience at all. And so and then the camp leaders or the trail walkers, you're all an inexperienced one. So I was inexperienced. You're always with someone who's experienced. So I was with someone who's very experienced. She really knew what she was doing. And honestly, she was like not afraid of anything. She had been a wilderness firefighter as well. And, she was incredible. And usually you're in a group of at least one other person that's experienced, or one or two, or sorry, 2 to 3 adults with these young teens. And so we had training. But when I got out there, when I initially started the group, I was with a group of girls that first couple of weeks, and all of them were more experienced than I was, because they'd been out there for several weeks, maybe a month. And they were amazing. And I remember I was struggling so hard to keep up because at the time I was like 100, I weighed like 100 pounds, and the backpack I was carrying was almost 50 pounds. And we were having to hike all day long and like scale mountains. And I just couldn't believe it. but you get strong really fast. You get sore all the time. But I remember actually at one of the young girls, and I think I always will remember her because she was so kind, because I felt really bad about not being able to keep up because I was actually behind everybody because physically they were stronger than me. I think I was like, how old was I? I was 25, 24, 25. And this girl was like 13 and she was stronger than me and going faster than I was. And so I just felt I felt bad. I mean, that I wasn't able to keep up. And I remember one night we would sit around the circle every night and talk while we cooked our food. And we call it a fire circle. And then she said something to me. She said, the strongest one isn't always the biggest one and the one that's at the head of the pack, but it's the one that has to work the hardest to keep up. And she was so young, but had so much wisdom. And it really impacted me. She was so kind because she recognized all of the effort that I was putting in because it was excruciating. Because I just wasn't able to keep up. I would try so hard. And so in the beginning, I really struggled in, but I think that vulnerability with the other kids, struggling physically, and then sometimes I would get so mad because it was just so hard, and the kids would get mad too. We connected on that. And they realized it's like, I'm human. So that permission to be human, I'm human. This is hard. And we developed relationships on that as well. And so it felt like we were all in this journey together. And it wasn't that I never complained. I tried to avoid complaining, but there was some times where it was just hard. And I was like, this is really hard. I want to go home too. But at the end, I will say I was so proud of myself because you go different weeks, you go with different groups. And so at the end, I was walking with a group of teenage boys, and obviously they're going to be a lot faster and stronger. But I was so proud of myself because that week I was leading the group and I was going super fast, and they had a hard time keeping up with me, so I had to slow down. So I was proud of myself that physically I'd had a change, and emotionally I had a change, and spiritually, just in so many ways during that process, during that time period.
Wow, that's awesome, Lauren. You you will blossom. Kind of like flourishing, Uh, just how we learn now. If we go to like the PhD program, it would be like the human flourishing PhD program. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
How did you discover positive psychology in that came?
Well, there's a book that we use, that's kind of like a guidebook, and it's written actually, the this therapy treatment program was actually started by a family, and they're Native American. And so they use this book, and they tell stories in this book, and the stories teach lessons to these children. And so a lot of it is based on nature. So they call it like the path of the stone, the path of water, the path of nature. And you learn about these different elements in nature and what wisdom you can gain from it. And so, for example, maybe the stone, you learn how it's still and it's strong. And even if you hurt it, if you try to hurt it, it doesn't get hurt. If you do something to it, it doesn't hurt you back, kind of thing. And so you learn different aspects of like forgiveness, also letting emotions flow through you. I mean, it experienced going through these challenges physically and being so angry, but the more angry you are, then it almost seems like Mother Nature like puts you in your place more. So if you're walking through the forest and you don't have a heart at peace, like really, and it's very interesting, if you're not at peace when you're walking and doing the survival, you get hurt more because I think that anger encompasses you. So you don't notice trees, you don't notice bushes, you don't notice thorns. You're just focused on that anger, and you're not able to be present in that environment and walk well with nature, and you end up having mishaps. along the way. And so I saw that in the kids, I saw it myself, and we learned that through these stories that they tell Native American type of tales. And that's how I became exposed to positive psychology, because we teach the kids to help them discover their own seeds of greatness. And they actually are rewarded for different things that they do as well. So that's when I fell in love, and I really got excited about positive psychology.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes. So because of your sharing, I now connect to the to one of the week that we learn about the nature.
Mhm.
And one of our founding father, he's loved to be in the nature a lot.
Mm.
And I love him as well. Uh, thanks to the MA in happiness, I learned more about him, and I
Oh,
found myself practicing some, like I found a similarity between me and the founding father. I try to remember him, but I know you remembered us. Do you remember his name? Suddenly I
no,
forgot.
I don't remember his name. Maybe
Suddenly
some of
I forgot.
the comments might remember.
But we learn about the nature, and we learn about, like spiritual aspect that connect us with the nature as well. So when you got to learn the spy model, how did you how did you feel? Did you find the connection?
Yes, I did. Well, I think when I learned about, and it was almost even just necessarily reading about the master's program online, I found the connection, because after I finished my time at Anasazi, I started looking for a master's program online, and I didn't, well, at that time they hardly had anything online, but I had a very difficult time finding what I was looking for. And then whenever this appeared, it seemed like my husband found it online, and he told me about it, and it seemed like it fit exactly what I was searching for, where it encompassed not only all of the aspects of happiness, but how to actually use them and how to implement them in our own lives and help others. And so I was really excited whenever I saw it. And then as we started learning about the happiness model for Spire, it was just really cool. It was a lot. So it was just so scientifically based. I really, really liked that. And it encompassed a broad spectrum of areas of happiness. So it wasn't just a narrow definition. It encompassed quite a few things. And so we have at the spiritual, the physical, the intellectual, the relational, and the emotional. And so it was amazing, and seeing that. And I remember learning about interconnectedness, and that was amazing in so many different aspects as well. I talked, as you mentioned a little bit, I've been on a health journey, and seeing how Spire has helped me in that health journey, and even understand other things, it's really quite amazing.
Well, thanks to your husband. It seems like
Yeah,
he's the one who leads you to this path
he
from the
did.
beginning.
You know what? You know what's so funny? Actually, I'll tell you that. Actually, three of the things. So when I went to Brazil the first time, I was doing volunteer work for my church, and you don't know necessarily where you're going to go. You just sign paperwork and say, "Hey, I would like to serve and help, and I'm available." And they choose where you're going to go. And he had actually initially said that he thought he guessed I was going to go to Brazil, and I did. So he did. Ben is right. He led me to Brazil the first time. He led me to Anasazi, and even this master's program too. So I've got a lot of gratitude for where he's led me. That's been good.
Yeah, you're such you're so lucky. You got a wise husband and a supportive husband.
Yes, he's been
Yeah,
super supportive,
and
super,
handsome too.
yeah, very handsome. Yeah.
And
Very supportive, and
yeah,
it's been great in so
wow.
many ways.
Um, So I found the name of the founding father. His name is Raphael Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Yeah,
Yes,
he's known
Ruffle.
for the nature. Because
Yeah.
when I read about him, I was like, wow, I have so many quality that's related to him. Uh, and it's just like his name imprints in my head. But for some reason, when I talk about him, I forgot his name.
Oh, that's fine. That's amazing. You have so many qualities like him. That's wonderful.
Yeah, he talked about the nature. So in one of the chapter, the first paragraph, he said that to go into solitude, a man needs to retire as much from his chamber as from society. And then the second paragraph, he mentioned that the stars awaken a certain reverse,
Mhm.
because through always present, they are inaccessible, but all natural objects make a intro impression when the mind is open to them flow, thing like that. So it's similar to what we just mentioned, that when you are in the nature, you have to be mindfulness, you have
Yeah.
to be at peace.
Mhm.
Um, because being at peace is a powerful word, and we use it. You know, yeah. If like recently, I had that realization too. Like after talking to, multiple students in the MA and happiness program, suddenly I realized that if we are not at peace with ourselves, or if we are not living in the present, then we don't live up to our full potential.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great insight. That's really
I learned that from you as well.
It's very true though, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, that's so true. And so, Ben saying anything, I heard back in the day, Native American wouldn't want to live in the modern city, but every other European settler who tried to live with nature wouldn't want to return to the modern city life.
Yeah.
How do you think about this?
Absolutely. I think there's so much wonderful peace when you're in nature, really enjoying the nature. Um, and, like I said, when before I started this, I hated camping. I didn't have like a profile of somebody that would do this. I was in business. Um, and I love that aspect too. There's a lot of fun to it as well, but there's just an element of peace that's out there that is a lot more accessible than whenever you're in a modern city and you have to really search and strive to find it and create that within your home, because it's even though it's so close, right? We've got this glass separating us. We have a lot of other distractions. And when you're in nature, particularly in the circumstance that I was in before, you have very few belongings. You have your shoes, you have a stick for your fire, bandana, and just a couple of things. So you don't have a lot of things to worry about. You're able to really focus on developing your character and um, through the nature around you. And so if you ever get a chance to go out and spend the night under the stars, really under the stars, it's something that you'll never forget, because you realize how big the universe really is and how small you are, but how you are also a special part of that as well. So it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling.
Yeah, thank you for your insight. Okay, back to uh the society. Like we was in nature. Now we're back to the society. So you recently gave your first speech at a happiness congress. Can you share more about that experience and what it meant to you,
Yeah,
please?
so it was in Brazil actually. I got also asked to interpret for someone who does happiness and happiness expert from Belgium. and I'm excited because I believe I'll begin working with this individual in Brazil as well. But I had an opportunity to speak, give a short speech, and I was so nervous. I was so excited. I mean, I was nervous because of what I was going to talk about. I actually, for the most part, feel that I feel comfortable speaking in public. I'm kind of weird like that, but I actually talked about something that was very sensitive and but I remembered what Dr. Tall said is what is most general is most, um, yeah, yeah. So, or what is most vulnerable is most general. What is it? How is it again?
Personal. What is,
Yes,
yeah.
most personal is most general. Okay, I was reading what someone wrote right here, but what is most personal is most general, and so I decided to take that leap and be vulnerable, and I shared some of my story, of my health story, and how I used some of the interventions from the happiness program to help me, and it was a really wonderful experience. I think I had some growth in that opportunity of speaking about it. And also it was really wonderful to share more about the happiness program. So it was extremely rewarding, and I hope that I get a chance to speak again in the future.
Wow. Um, have you ever been interpreting before?
Yeah, I did. I did it growing up as a teenager with my mom at church. I would
Mm.
help interpret for individuals in Spanish. And then when I moved to Brazil that the second time prior to the pandemic, I would interpret at church, and then sometimes just with friends to English to Portuguese or Portuguese to English, depending on the group I was with.
Wow. So the happiness congress was lucky to have you with them.
It was cool. It was a wonderful experience. It was good. Um, they were very kind, very receptive, and it was a good opportunity to kind of, even just for it was wonderful that they allowed me to speak. I think and I hope I was able to help uplift them. And it definitely was a grounding experience for me with what I shared. And I'm still in my journey for health, but it helped bring things to almost like a story at a point of a close. I actually talked about um, a few things that are are interesting that I really like. Do you mind if I share a little bit about that? S-
Yeah, sure, please.
So um well, I guess I should say a little bit, and I want to express, I've talked about so my health journey, she said that a little bit. I'll give a little bit of background, but basically whenever my son was born 3.5 years ago, I had injuries that during childbirth, that I became disabled because of the injuries that happened. And so I spent about 2 years with chronic nerve pain, and using a wheelchair, using a cane, and I've had very limited mobility. And the doctors didn't know what had happened. Um, and I didn't know what was going on. And then when I would ask them if I would be able to walk normally again, they wouldn't even have an answer for me. And it was progressively getting worse and worse. Um, the hard thing is, before my pregnancy, I was very, very physically active. I was a ballerina. I was that person that would run up the stairs to go to my apartment for fun. And so all forms of physical exercise I loved. And so I had trained to be fit prior to getting pregnant, and then during my pregnancy, I was great. And but I was scared. I was scared because I've never been through something like that, to deliver a baby. And so I remember I took a lot of strength from someone that I admired. Have you heard of Joan of Arc before?
Mm.
So Joan of Arc, she is a historical leader from the French army. So she was a young woman who led her troops to victory, or she was trying to. And she has a saying. She says, "I am not afraid. I was born for this." And so this is the mantra that I told myself before he was born, and during the delivery, I was telling myself this: I'm not afraid. I was born for this. And then after the delivery, when I was injured, I was really angry, because I had trusted that I would be okay, and um, it was almost everything, but I had so much pain physically. I was almost unable to walk for barely for a while, so much that my husband had to change my son's diapers, mostly all of them, for about the first 4 months, because I could barely stand to change his diaper. And so it just going through that was just such a difficult period. And so whenever I fast forward, I'm giving this speech, I kind of recap this experience in my thoughts. And so I started out with saying, I'm not afraid. I was born for this. And that's how I opened my speech. And then I went into speaking about the stories and the things that we tell ourselves. So we learned with Dr. Tal the power of storytelling, and writing in our journal. And I remember whenever had already moved to Brazil at this point. So when I started the master's program, it was actually initially when I had moved to Brazil to hopefully get better. So I had started my medical treatment at the same time I started the master's program. And I had been doing therapy, I think almost 6 months every single day. And I was like barely progressing. And I was just heartbroken and unsure, really unsure, and really didn't feel like I had very much hope again of healing, physically, right? And I remember he talked about the power of the story that we tell ourselves. And so I wrote a story about all of the challenges that we had gone through, that we're going through, and how I would overcome it and what it would look like at the end. And so the end of this story, which I told in my speech, would be graduating and walking across the stage in my high heels. And gratefully and thankfully, I was able to improve enough that I did walk across the stage in my heels. And but at that time, when I had written this story, I didn't know how far I would go. And so that was one of the things that I held on to give me hope, to try to propel myself forward when it almost seems like all the evidence around me is not looking like it's going to happen. And so that this was such a powerful thing for me in my life. And I realized even still, the mantra of Joan of Arc, I'm not afraid, I'm born for this. It didn't mean that it was going to go easy in my life, that what happened, it meant, and it still means, that it's going to be hard, but I'm going to be strong enough and I'm going to gain strength through this to get out on the other side. And so I it's just it's an opportunity to have gratitude and to find those good things that were there too. Yeah. Yeah, restoring. Loved it.
That's amazing, Lauren. I when I heard about your like your situation, like you got handicapped after childbirth, I could not imagine this because I recently went through childbirth myself too. It was painful. But yet I had, you know, I have a doctor and nurse there to help me and to support me and to find a way for me to feel less painful and more joyful to deliver. And
Yeah.
so when I heard of your story, I was like, I cannot imagine, but at the same time, I see I see you are like totally healthy and happy. And I cannot again, I cannot imagine how you went through uh all of the problem that you just share with us through childbirth. And just now sharing with, listening to your story. I'm so thankful that you have this experience when you was young, at the camp, because that give you the inner strength, and then that give you, like you connect with your essence, and give you you experience that at peace. You experience at peace. That's why you can go through all the thing that you have been going through. And that's why when you try to you gave a little dance on the stage. I did not remember the why you, like, I did not remember your journey. So I was like, oh, Lauren did her little dance, maybe because she was so happy. That's so cool. But can you share more with us? What have what did you have in your mind when you decide to do the little dance? It
Yeah.
just came, or like you planned for the dance?
Well, I didn't plan for it until that day, actually. Honestly, the whole moment was so surreal because as I went through this journey that was so challenging for me, I had a dichotomy of feelings. I had so much joy and happiness for being a mom and having a wonderful baby. And I would cling as hard as I could onto those happy moments. But I was also had so much pain physically and emotionally and uncertainty. And so that was always kind of in flux together. And to come out on that other side and have the restoring and have it happen the way that I had programmed in my mind and worked for months. This funny story, actually, really quick. Was doing physical therapy daily, and I would take my high heels to go to the physical therapy and go to the gym and walk around with my high heels. And so I would kind of trot, and then they would let me go on the treadmill and I would walk, and everybody's in their tennis shoes, but there I am in my high that I had gotten. My husband got them for me. It was a sweet gift. To practice. I would practice walking on the treadmill to be able to do it on stage. And so when I realized I was going to get the opportunity to walk, I was on cloud nine. I think when I met you too, you had said something I was very serious, but I think that whole weekend, honestly, the whole month, I just, I really didn't even feel like my life was real because it had been such a change and it had actually happened. And it was such an incredible experience to graduate, to really process that, we had completed a master's degree, the first of its kind. And then I thought, this needs more than just walking across the stage. So I got to do something special. So I clicked my heels and it was incredible, just the most incredible feeling of overwhelming gratitude that I was with this group. I was healthy. I'm alive. I have my family, and my body was working. My legs were working. And to even just be able to do that simple movement would have been almost impossible before, and just so difficult. It was amazing. The only small regret that I have is that I didn't get to turn around and see our teachers' expressions when that went, because they told me afterwards that Ashley was our teacher was just in tears and so happy. And so and they all are proud of all of us. So I wanted to see, I should have turned around to see that. I don't know if anybody got that on camera, but it was just special. And to be there with supportive people, my family was there in the stands cheering. And it just, oh my goodness, it just completely felt surreal. It didn't feel real at all. It was so overwhelming, that the graduation and the retreat, that I don't think I took hardly any pictures with anyone except with you, Ben, and baby Luna. That was it though. And I'm happy I have that, but literally, I mean, I didn't take pictures with anybody. I completely forgot. And I love to take pictures.
I don't blame you, because I did feel overwhelming too. And I'm glad that I took some picture, but I did not take picture with everybody that I want to take picture with. You know, I was just worried for baby Luna because she was crying a little bit. And so we was just like in and out the building.
You guys did so great, and it was so incredible to see baby Luna cross that stage with you guys. Congratulations, because I mean, to do that, both of you do the master's program is already hard, and then to do that while being pregnant, having a baby, and coming there with your baby, you guys are rock stars. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you.
Cool thing.
I by like listening to your sharing, you know, like bring me back to that day. I felt so touched. I mean, until this day, when I talk about, you know, this experience and listening to you and then listening to other people, it just bring me back to that moment of my life.
Yeah.
And I admire you so much just because I was like, oh my God, Lauren did a dance on the stage, how brave. Uh, because I was so nervous and I did not know why I was so nervous. And I cried instead of, you know, I should smile and dance, but I cried.
Oh no, I felt crying too, even talking with you, listening. I think it touched all of us in so many ways, but I cried too. It was so
Mm.
just so special. It was so special, but you can still dance. We can still dance about it.
Maybe next time when we do the PhD, if you ever want to do the PhD, we
I
can
would love
dance.
to. I hope so. I hope to do it. It'll be neat. It's gonna be amazing. It's been amazing so far, so it would be an awesome opportunity.
I saw Nelly raising her hand.
Oh,
Nelly is also in the MA happiness cohort, um like the group two. We have group one, she's group two. Hello.
Lauren, it's so nice to see you again.
you too. How are you?
I'm doing good. We still need to talk.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yeah,
I've been so
yeah.
busy. I haven't hardly been able to do anything while I've been here with family, but I would love to catch up with you.
Yes, no, I'm so excited because when I saw on one of the WhatsApp groups that you were going to be the speaker, I was like, yay, I really wanted to see you again. And I couldn't join the meeting from the beginning, but I came, I think, at the right time because you started with like what is most general is most personal. And I was just thinking, wow, just to hear your story, I have a very similar story to the one that you just shared, and it just touched my heart in this deep way that it is exactly what that quote really means. And I'm just just so it's so inspiring just to see the transformation that you have had. And you are an embodiment of resilience, of anti-fragility. And I was just thinking about a couple weeks that Jasmine had Iris, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her, Shapiro. And, she's writing this book about resilience, about anti-fragility, about people who have had, struggles in their lives. And, they're not easy. When you think about reality, it's not easy what you've been through, right? But just to see all the things that you've been able to do, including the interventions of the master's program, to use them in your life to restore your story, right? Acknowledging what your circumstances, but also writing about your future self and how you are going to overcome the challenges and what you're going to do. I think it's just so beautiful just to see that we are able to bounce back and bounce back higher. What Dr. Tal calls the resilience 2.0. So I am just so thankful that I was able to join just to hear your story. Now I'm really gonna bother you through WhatsApp so we can talk. But thank you for sharing that story. And I'm 100% sure that the people that you told the story on that conference, I know that you touched a lot of people's heart because it's brave to share your story, and it is brave everything that you've been through and what you've done, and also how you transform that quote. You know, you were disappointed at the beginning because you expected something different from that quote. But you know, the quote meant something else for you, and you've definitely done, you know, you've definitely given it another different meaning. So thank you.
Ellie, thank you so much for joining and being here and supporting. I actually watched Iris's interview with Jasmine as well, and I saw you speaking there, and I was so excited to see you too. Even though it was a recording, I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's her!" I was like, "We'll have to catch up." You were so kind, and I really enjoyed meeting you at the retreat. And my heart goes out to you that you said you experienced something similar. Initially, I want to say I'm so sorry because it is so hard, but at the same time, with that empathy of that difficult journey that you're on, that we are on, there's strength in it, and there is hope on the other side and through it, even though sometimes it feels like almost a thread to hang on to. That hold on to that, and as we keep growing, and I can see that you are the embodiment as well of resilience and joy and happiness, and I look forward to getting to know you more as well through WhatsApp afterwards.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. I feel like the world became smaller and the families became bigger, you know, by us reaching out to each other. And I also saw the Virginie. I don't know if Virginie is available or not, but earlier Virginie was like, love that, Lauren, how big the universe is and how small we are, and yet certain interval part of it. Virginie is so supportive to your nature story. Yeah, okay, it's okay. If everybody wants to, you know, connect to Lauren or ask any question or share your insight, thought while listen to Lauren, you can always raise your hand and interact with her. You know, this Zoom is for everybody, not just me and Lauren. And we welcome all questions or you know, interact. Thank you so much. Okay, well, while waiting to you know, while waiting everybody to you know, ask you a question, I have another question for you too. Oh, Regina. Hello.
Hi, Regina.
Hi, Jasmine. Hi, Lauren. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I clear?
Hear you.
Yeah.
So good
I'm
to
so
hear you.
sorry. I'm on the go, so I can't put on my video, but you know, I needed to reach out to you, and thank you, Jasmine, for bringing in Lauren so that, you know, so many more people can hear her story, which is truly heroic, I think. You know, Lauren, when you shared the picture, and I, of course, met you very briefly during the retreat because I was not there for a very long time myself. But knowing what you'd gone through, and then when I saw the video you shared, thank you firstly for sharing that moment. It is so special. It'll be etched in my memory forever. It's such a beautiful moment. And what a story of resilience. And like you said, you manifested it with all the positivity that, you know, when you're saying that you wrote your story, these are things that we need to understand, that all those energies do get, you know, channelized towards what we are visualizing. So think of the best, and, you know, the best is going to come to you, and may it be, you know, may you be on this path with all the vibrations and positive energies I can send to you and all of us around, I'm sure. Stay blessed, Lauren. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Regina, thank you for your kind words. I'm so grateful to hear you again today. I loved meeting you, even though it was really quick at the retreat. And I also wanted to express gratitude because you shared that you appreciated the video I shared, because I was a little bit nervous about sending the video too, even though I felt, but I decided to do it because you guys have all been so kind and supportive of everyone. And so thank you for that. thank you for your message when I sent the video, and right now as well. I appreciate that, and I feel that those good vibrations, those well wishes, and the happiness that you're sending, and it makes a big impact on me. And there's something for me to as well to hold on to, and that I can, that good energy to flow through me from you to others. So thank you very much, Virginie.
Thank you, Lauren. And one thing that Charles taught us through this program, I'm sure all of us here will agree to that, that, stories need to be shared, because who knows who will get inspired. So I know what you say when we have that kitchen, hesitation in sharing things. But, it is wonderful that we are open to it now and we are doing it, because people do get, kind of influenced and inspired positively. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the encouragement from all of you guys have helped a lot, because as I said, when I started this journey with my health, I started the master's program, and I would I wouldn't tell anybody, even my hat group. I didn't tell them for almost the first, I don't think almost the first month. And I always show up a little bit late, or I think I had to leave early. I can't remember. And I felt bad about it because but I didn't want to tell them. And there's a certain amount of, people in society, unfortunately, that are handicapped or disabled in some way, many times are not viewed or treated the same way as somebody who is able-bodied. And I experienced that going out in different places. And so I think that was something that it was something that bothered me in the beginning. And I also felt it was just a difficult time. So when I finally shared it with them, they were so supportive. And so I started doing it little by little, and places that I thought were safe. And in this master's program with all of you, everyone has been so kind and so supportive and uplifting, that I eventually felt safe that I could share that. And so thank you all, for everyone that is here and even that is not here. Obviously, our teachers, our professors, Dr. Tao, and all of them, for helping create this environment and the kind of people that you all have chosen to be, where not only myself, but others can feel free to share their stories as well too. So thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. I feel so touched listening to you and Virginie talking. Um, it's such a wonderful journey that we had together for the past 18 months. And by you reminding me that uh, for the first couple months, you did not talk to your cohort about, your situation, yeah, your health. But at some point you open up and then let us know. Um, until now, I feel so appreciate that you open up, because you should open up. What is personal, that is general, you should open up, and everybody was so welcoming, and so caring. And I learned that from your story. And I learned that being honest and, be able to open up to other people is also a strength that 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 we all should learn how to open up to other people, and not hiding from everybody, thinking that people were judging us and, thinking something about us. I have another question for you. It's about your family. So
Okay.
what role do your family and your experience in happiness program play in maintaining your own happiness and well-being?
Oh, well, I mean, our families, I think, can be a wonderful fountain of joy and challenges. All right. The ones that we grew up in and the ones that we create as well. And I have to say, I'm so grateful for the family that I grew up in. First of all, my parents and my sisters, and all the love that we had and the growth that we had growing up all together. because we were all at our different stages in our journey of growth, starting from being a baby and having my parents, they were also learning how to be parents, and now they're on a journey to being a new phase of being grandparents. And my wonderful husband, who's been so supportive of everything, for me to do a master's program, to actually, when we decided to come to Brazil or go to Brazil, we've been here for 2 years, and we left everything and went, and he did it. He put all of our stuff in storage so that I could have a chance to maybe get better. And so this whole journey of anti-fragility, I think, has been a journey for my whole family, my parents included, and my husband and our baby. And the things that I've been able to learn have been so exciting. I don't know if you felt this way, especially because Ben was doing it too, but like I would do the assignments, and then afterwards I would tell my husband all the different things that I learned. I would have him have him watch some stuff with me, and I would go to bed and I'd be like, I'm so excited with my homework. I'm so excited to do this homework, because it was just the information was so incredible. It was so amazing. And then, oh my gosh, it was just one of the coolest things ever. And oh, Nelly feels like that too. Yeah. It was fantastic. And so learning the things, and then I would share some information with my husband, and then he would start to do some of it too. He actually started to take his health more serious as well, especially in the beginning, when we started studying more about it, like that aspect, inspire the physical aspect. And so it was really neat, because that brings more joy to the whole family if everybody's working on themselves. And I love it. I love it so much. It's been a wonderful thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, you become a light, like a light and a light switch.
I like that. A light switch, huh? That's a good idea. Good metaphor. We
Thank
have
you.
power. We call it light
We
switch.
do, because house that we're supposed to become, a happiness center ourselves. We
Right.
are, like the power to chart ourselves, and then to help other people chart themselves.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
I got a question from Ben.
Okay.
Ben said that I noticed Brazil is having many big happiness events like festival and celebrations. Why do you think that is? Um, and do you think if you're meant to live in Brazil to support the happiness movement, do you think?
I think maybe I am, because as many times as I've tried to come back to I love Brazil. Many Brazilians will ask, why do I want to live in Brazil? Every country you've lived in, different places, has good things, has things that aren't so good. There's things that I love about being in the US. There's things that I love about being in Brazil. And there's one of those things is the culture. It's so fun. It's very lively. The people, I think, embrace emotions more as a society. There's a bit more permission to be human, from happy to angry on the spectrum. But oh my goodness, a bird just popped up with a peanut. A blue jay has a peanut right outside of the window. Anyway, he flew away. But yeah, I think they embrace that festive spirit more, which is why they have Carnival, right? They appreciate that a lot. They value it a lot. There's also a lot of holidays. Like it feels like sometimes, like every couple of weeks there's a holiday, whereas in the US I feel like it's sometimes every few months. But they enjoy it. They really enjoy those gatherings, and I think they value that a lot. And maybe there is a part of me that's meant to live in Brazil, because all of these doors that were opened because of my initial time in Brazil, and in so many aspects, the language, the people, my husband, now with the happiness movement. I gave a speech there, and I'm so grateful. I already have 2 opportunities that have come out of that, of people wanting to work with me. And so I'm very excited about that. I want to take things slow. I still have to focus on my health, and my priority is being with my son, taking care of him, and my family. I really enjoy spending and caring for my family, but I also love to share happiness with others. So doing that in a way that's going to be sustainable, I guess, with my energy, to not go too far to one side, too far to the other side. And then it's just been, I'm excited for it. I like that. I like it. There's a lot of good things that have happened. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry. I said I am excited for you as well, you know, for all the things that you have done, and then, for all the things that you will do as well for your community and for the society. That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun because doing it in a country that's not my own, and gratefully they are so welcoming. The Brazilian culture is very welcoming, very open. And oh good, y'all, we'll definitely visit Brazil. Yeah, come down to Brazil with Bella Luna. Oh, and an HSA retreat. That would be amazing. I will be there. I will definitely be there if it's in Brazil. But yeah, it's wonderful that people are so receptive, and I'm really grateful that I have an opportunity to do it. And it's fun to do it in another language. I mean, it's not your native tongue. Even you are doing that, sharing the light of the happiness movement in another language that's not your native tongue. And it's, I don't know, how do you feel about that? I feel like how do you feel about it? Because I get kind of excited. I think it's funny when I make mistakes sometimes too, because everybody gets to laugh. But how do you feel about it? I'm curious.
Like sharing happiness study in another language.
Yeah. How do you like?
Interesting fact. I don't know. I never really share happiness study. I'm always do the supporting role. The one who share happiness study is Ben, actually. And then
Yeah.
I'm just like acting like a student in his classroom, raising my hand and share my I am.
That's good too, though. But even what you're doing right now, you're sharing it with everyone in another language, and just sharing it in general. I think this idea that you and Ben had is fantastic, actually. I'm so grateful that you're doing that, because there's so many of the students that I want to get to know, but I wasn't able to at the event. And what you're doing is a real treasure, actually, for all of us to have, so we can connect and get to know each other on a much deeper level. So thank you both for doing that.
Thank
Ben
you.
is participating in this as well, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so thank you, and Bella Luna as well.
thank you. Um, that's a good question. Thank you so much for your kind word. I always love to talk to people, and I always love to have interview like this. I would not say interview, but I like to talk to people and listen to other people's stories from the beginning of time, from when I was a little kid. But I was afraid. I was not an open um I was not be able to, like, I'm not vulnerable like now compared to when I was younger, because for some reason my mind always run with words, but when I speak it out, it was kind of like broken, it's not complete. And even if complete, then people don't understand me. So it kind of like it was a barrier for me. And somehow it's like open up now, and I was able to like talk to people and ask you a question in my head. Like I get to like share to other people what I wanna talk to them, and like my true feeling uh about people. um So I guess like that's a way for me to do this. It's just like being listen to other people more and like practice speaking. So I am actually thankful to you and like Nelly and Virginie and everybody else in this room just because this is like a safe place, safe haven for me to do what I love to do and nobody are judging me. You know what I mean?
Amazing. You're doing amazing. Yeah, you're doing great. Thank you too.
Yeah, I like interview people was my dream and my passion since I was born until now.
Yeah.
And I not yet uh like I have not been able to do it without this group of supportive people and loving and caring. And so I thought it's a wonderful thing to start um for everybody, not just for myself. Cause I start doing like YouTube and other social media platform for myself, and I got up to somewhere, but I got bored because I got something, but I did it for myself. And
Mhm.
even though I have a follower, a lot of follow me, but I did not feel this connection. Even though people talk to me and message me, but I feel like I got tied down into a position, and it's not me. I just want to connect and I want to listen more um like other people's story than just me talking about myself or like um talking to people that I don't know. So I found this more meaningful, and that's what I love to do.
Well,
But thank you so much.
congratulations. You're doing great.
Yeah. Well, before we go, thank you, Virginie. She just left. Before we go, I have another question, final question for you. If you can become a host and you can interview any MA students, who would you like to interview?
Can it be a teacher?
It doesn't matter, teacher or students.
I would like to interview Ashley, actually, our teacher,
Huh?
Ashley. Yeah,
Okay.
she is so discreet, but she's so funny. She's so kind and uplifting, and I really enjoyed learning with her. And I would love to get to know her more. She didn't open up and share very much about herself personally, but I think she sounds like a very interesting person, very kind person. And her, along with the other teachers and professors, I absolutely loved getting to know them more and learning from them. And so I think she has a lot of wonderful stories to share as well.
Mm, that's awesome. That's great. Because no, yes, I'm going to write down the list of who want to interview who, and hopefully I can make it happen. Maybe one day
Okay,
she will be here.
that'd be amazing. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah. Like Rajini, when so next week we will have Chanel, and then the following weeks we will have Rajini. So I start asking everybody to become a host instead of me doing that this all the time. And so when Rajini coming up, I asked Leslie to become a host because I find that Leslie and Rajini has some similarity. Because Leslie has background in like Buddhism, even though she's not Buddhist. She came from a country um, where people doesn't practice Buddhism all the time. And then Rajini, she's lived in India, and in the past, I thought Indian practice Buddhism, but they are not. They practice Hinduism. Um, and Rajini learning a lot. Like Rajini learned a lot in knowledge from Buddhism. So I can find both of them have some similarity and difference at the same time. I
Yeah.
thought it's going to be a wonderful mix if they can have they can interact with each other.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to both of those interviews. They sound
Yeah.
like they're great.
Yeah. So, well, one day you're going to be here. To my spot, I will be the MC still. I will stay, be in the room, be present with you and everybody else. But one day I would like you to be in my position as well.
Okay, challenge accepted.
Just understand. All right. The time is up. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Thank you so much, everybody, like Nelly, Ben, and everybody in this room for being here today. And you know, um, together we learned something from Lauren. And thank you, Lauren, for share the wisdom in us and bring out the best in us. Like I love the fact that you become happiness facilitate yourself, like physical and spiritual and intellectual as well. um I cannot wait to learn more from you, especially from the school that you operate right now. And I wish that your school become flourishing, and I wish that you could potentially have franchise, all over the world, doing what
Oh,
you love to do.
that'd be wonderful. I hope so. I hope to do that with the school. I hope to teach one day and continue to do more coaching and different things too, as well. So, but thank you so much for this opportunity. It was really good and really great to get to talk with you a little bit more and the different students here. And thank you all for being here as well. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you. It was an
Thank you,
honor.
Lauren. Also, thank you, Lisbeth. I don't know if Lisbeth is a woman or man, but thank you for being here, because at least that you have been with us in the beginning of the Zoom until now. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you, Nelly. Uh, there is not to be.
Oh.
Okay. Um, Thank you so much for being supportive, Nelly, because she has been to all this interview, and I cannot wait to interview you one day. Again, thank you, Lauren, so much. Thank you, you. Thanks. Thank you to your family, to your husband, to your son, Levi, and to everything that you have done to our community and to your community in Brazil and potentially to the whole world. And we want to go to Brazil one day to learn from you personally, and hopefully we could connect.
Yeah, that would be fun. I think we need to make it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
Well,
so much. Well, the time is up, and time to say goodbye. But yet we will see each other again in another Zoom.
thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.